Hello everyone, this is a series of talks called Table Talk, and it's about the 101 of doing any large renovation or self-build, and it is our top 10 tips. So in 2016 we bought an old house, demolished it, and which was really tired and old, and in place of that we built our home. We survived the whole thing, and we're here to tell the tale, and it pretty much is a tale. So much so that when anyone comes to our house, it tends to be the main topic of conversation. So we thought we'd share our insights with you. It's not intended to be an A to Z of doing a self-build, nor is it intended to be a do's and don'ts. It's more sort of sharing our insights.
Yes. Well, self-builds are like a survival course, or put another way, a roller coaster that you can't get off. You feel like you're hemorrhaging money even when you're on budget. I mean, they're exciting, but they're scary at the same time.
And if I got £1 for everyone who says to me, "Oh, did you enjoy your build?" I'd be a really rich person. I think enjoy is probably too strong a word. It's more, I sort of thought it was a challenge. It was a good challenge. I'd definitely do it again. Probably structure the build in a different way, make it less complicated. But enjoy, is not the word here.
No.
So in this series of talks, as I've said, we will share our insights. And so here goes with our top 10 tips.
Well, the top of the list, or top of the tips, is budget. What you're going to spend in hard cash, whether you borrowed it or it's coming from your own resources. But you need to prepare a thorough budget that tries to encapsulate every item of expenditure.
And secondly, you need to look at what's your objective. Are you trying to build a very modern house in a road where there are only traditional houses? So you really need to think about what you're hoping to achieve and whether that's realistic.
Yes, and then once you've done that, you can compare your budget with your objective and make sure that what you're trying to do is realistic. Building in, of course, a contingency.
Yeah, and point 4, really think about how you're going to structure this. Are you going to have a builder who's going to hire the trades, or are you going to project manage your own build and hire in your own trades? So really important to think right at the outset how you're going to structure your build.
Then there's planning. Plan, more planning. And we spent over a year planning. It was time very well spent. And you shouldn't cut corners. You need to plan thoroughly.
And then carefully select your team. And that really will depend on how you structured the transaction. If you're going to be using a builder and that builder is going to be hiring in the trades, then obviously you won't have to select your own contractors. But you will have to, select your professional team, so your architect and your, surveyors and various other professionals. So structuring your team choosing your professionals rather, will depend on how you structured this, project.
Then there's your drawings. You're going to need these, so understand them, get to know how to interpret them, get comfortable with them, make sure they're accessible, because you're going to need them sometimes when you least expect it.
Yeah. Look at, and all part of your budget, but what we did is listed out everything that we wanted, literally from the bricks on the house to all of the internal finishes, external finishes, but just really listing it out so that, again, it goes to the heart of budget, but it also makes you think about, in detail, what you want your dream home to look like.
And then, of course, there's the regulatory requirements. These include planning permission, of course, and then there's making sure you've got a license before you can demolish a property if you're doing a new build and there's an existing property on the plot. And of course, CIL, the Community Infrastructure Levy, that is a strict procedural framework that you have to follow correctly, otherwise you could have a very nasty shock.
Yeah. And lastly, do your research on the other houses in the area. Are you what you're looking to build, is it in keeping with the other houses generally in the area? The last thing you want to do is to over-capitalise on your dream home and find out you've spent a lot more than the house will ultimately be worth. So yes, do your research on that really well. So that then are our top 10 tips. Many of these points we'll be going through again in a little bit more detail in further sort of sessions. But that's it for now. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.